tuned into Breaking the Mask of Depression with your host, Diva with Depression.
Hey guys, welcome to Breaking the Mask of Depression with me, your host, the Diva with Depression. I hope everyone is doing well. I am not going to talk about current events today. I did that last week. If
Right.
you want to go back and listen to last week's episode, sisters have left the building because we have. So go ahead back and listen to it. Your girl has been outside, y'all. Yes. And not just once, twice this year. I went to two podcast events. Yeah, I did. I left. And so I went to two podcast festivals and I met my guests at both. But at the second podcast festival is when I realized that we were both in the same category as far as what our podcast oh gosh, y'all know how my brain works, subject matter was. And also our personal subject matter actually. So welcome to Jared. How are
Thank.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for coming on this show. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I have to tell you that before I ask you to introduce yourself, after I spoke to you at the Empowered Podcasting, the first one, I
hmm
said that I wanted to have you on the show, and I had you written down and stickies everywhere. But it wasn't until you spoke during the session at the Afros and Audio. And yes, I cried because when you got choked up, and I was like, that's heartfelt. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He's not just blowing shit.
Yeah.
This is from his heart.
Yeah.
And I was so touched, but I was moved by your honesty because there were so many people there that you didn't know. So that's when I was like, okay. And I wanted to have brothers on, trying to, get some men on for November and December. And you were the first one that I reached out to. So tell us where you're from and tell us if you're an only child or if you have siblings.
Okay. Okay. So I am originally from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Oh, we.
Yeah. Yeah. But I live currently in the Atlanta metro area. I've been here for about like 17 years.
Oh, wow.
So, so yeah, it's kind of snuck up on me. I'm technically I'm not an only child, but I'm my mom's only child, so I think that
Okay.
counts as only child. So
Okay.
I grew up as an only child, but I have siblings from my dad. So
Okay.
I think we're closer now as adults than when we were as kids, especially the youngest one who I'm surprised she hadn't called me yet today.
So, what is your subject matter? I know the mental health part, but tell us what everything is.
Yeah, so my podcast is called It's About Damn Time. It's a podcast about, just self-discovery and personal development. I think we all have those listen to those podcasts that are to help you be a better person and build a better you. But they all come from that expert level. They like, okay,
Right.
this is what you need to do, and here are the experts.
Right.
And I've had this experience doing this. Well, I don't have any freaking experience doing any of that shit.
Me
So
neither.
I am over here just trying to live life and have conversations that help people think differently, help people, know that they're not alone. Just talk and be vulnerable and open. And it's funny, you definitely caught me being open and vulnerable in our Afro's audio. I wasn't
Right.
even prepared to be that vulnerable and open, but you kind of just seeped on out. But yeah, that's the main thing. I just want to have those conversations with people and just make them feel that they're not alone. And I think a lot of times with depression, with it's at least a lot of isolation, and you feel like no one understands who you are. And the whole point of it is saying, hey, I understand what you're struggling with depression. I understand what you're struggling with when you're trying to be a better person, but you don't really know how. And let's just talk.
Right. I love that. I love that. You're similar because I always say that I just cut through the bullshit.
Yeah,
I don't have time for it. And that's what made me start my platform is because I got tired of reading the books and the long words and all of that stuff. Like nobody has time for that, especially if you are depressed. You
right.
really don't have time for it. Your mind can't process it. No. So as far as your depression, was that something that you struggled with all your life or as you got older?
My yeah, my entire adult life.
Okay.
I think I probably was depressed in my teens and just it just
Okay.
wasn't really diagnosed. I think by the time I entered college and I moved to about 100 miles away from my hometown, so close enough where I can get back if I need
Right.
to, but far enough where I can actually be my own self. And I started realizing, yeah, I've been taking care of so many people outside of, just me. And so now I'm focused on me and that was hard. So
Right.
I would try to distract myself and be out, outside and then just kind of cry,
Yeah.
inside, in my own dorm room. But it just, I think around 18 and 19, it started, kind of manifested, especially like right around this fall, like the fall season.
Hmm.
So I've probably been suffering from that seasonal depression, the
Right.
seasonal affective disorder for quite some time. And
Right.
so, when it happened, I would just uncontrollably cry.
Oh, wow.
And, I had friends like, okay, well, let's go to the counselor station and everything. And I'll talk to them for like a week and I'm like, well, maybe I'm cured.
Right.
And it definitely was not. And just kind of just struggled, throughout life, like, different therapists, trying, antidepressants, just, fighting those demons. And
Yeah.
it's some years were like, okay, I got this. And then some years, and then some, especially during some seasons, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna stay around. I don't know if I'm gonna
Right.
live. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I heard you say that your friends encourage you to go get help. What has I was reading something the other day that said that 24% of Black men, well, 24% of Black men are more likely to die by suicide than Black women. And we know that one of the reasons why is because men are not as free with their emotions than women are. So I think it's awesome that your friends encourage you. What has your experience been with other Black men?
Ooh, rough. I mean, as far as like them actually going, it's rough. Like I like you read that stat. I completely agree with that, and without any type of facts, like as far as the knowledge and the numbers to consider it, because of the fact that I've talked to so many black men that just well, one, don't want to open up. They don't want to share their feelings, and usually when you do share your feelings, it may be with a woman that you care about, that you have opened up to at that point. But then even then, you might do that sparingly. It might be every other time or every third time when you feel like you're in a crisis and you want to cry. So um as I've gotten older, talking to some of my male friends, we encourage each other. Like I got this group from college that we still talk to each other like, at least like once a month, called the Pro Stars, and we're on the calls and we're talking, and I think being vulnerable there in a place where guys who've known me for 20 years can
Mhm.
be like, yeah, like okay, I'm gonna go to therapy. I'm like, good, because I'll, everyone expects Jared to always sit there
Right.
and be
Yeah.
vulnerable and talk about how he went to therapy and
Mhm.
whatever suicide thoughts that he had or whatever. But yeah, for them to open up and start telling me that they're going to therapy, or at least one of them, we're still trying to get one of them to still do it. He's considering. Like we trying to twist his arm a little bit, like, yo, my boy, come on with it. It's that encouragement. It's that safe space where we can have those conversations,
Yeah.
and I think that's what's most important.
Yeah. I was reading your media kit and I was shocked when you have listed that your audience is mostly women. And that's my audience too. And I'm like, fellas, we can't even listen. Y'all don't even listen to your own kind. Unless it's, I call it the podcast boys.
Hmm.
Unless it's, something demeaning or crazy, y'all are not listening to everybody, in your species. I call it
Yeah,
species.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that really bugged me out. I understand if you're not going to go to therapy, but you're coming from the heart, the soul. You're identifying, and they're not listening, and that really that's I don't know why that surprised me, but it did. It really did.
I, I
Um,
think I think what it is. I think what it is that like most guys don't want to be reminded about feeling vulnerable, and so
yeah,
like I'm not about to be vulnerable. Why I want to listen to this guy sit there and open up about his feelings and being vulnerable?
yeah,
So it's almost like a reminder. So it's like, no, I don't want to do that. At the same token, I think because a lot of guys don't necessarily open up, um, that's a lot of why I have a lot of women, listeners, because they don't get it from their spouses, their boyfriends,
right.
their brothers,
Yeah,
their uncles, their
yeah,
dads. So it's like, okay, well, here's a black guy in his 40s, being vulnerable. Let me listen to him. Maybe he can give me
yeah.
some insight on how to deal with those relationships.
Okay, I get it. I get it. Wow. So what made you start the podcast? Because I started my platform before I started my podcast.
Yeah, I just knew I wanted like it was like so I had been doing podcasting like doing podcasting with different people and having like I probably was guilty of being associated with those podcast boys, just trying to do a podcast like because mostly because I was so scared to do mine myself. Like I
Right.
wanted to do it for some time, but I was so scared. But I think the pandemic, happened. We all had to sit
Oh
still
yeah.
and just like you know what? Life is short. People out here dying. Like let's
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
let's let's do what we got to do. Like let's try it. If it don't work and you fail, who cares? Just blame it on the pandemic.
Right.
So
Right.
that was the push that I needed, and even then, I knew I wanted to talk about stuff. I knew I wanted to have conversations that revolved around things that I was passionate about. But it honestly took me to like episode 75 to sit there and realize what my podcast really was, which is so funny because I remember having this epiphany where I'm like, this is not like society and culture. This is like an educational podcast. Like that's what I was classified as. I was like, and I remember going to my podcast friends group chat and I was like, hey, y'all, did y'all know my podcast is educational? And it's like, yeah. I said, well, why didn't you tell me? I could have you could have let me know and that's when it kind of hit me. So we went from that to all right, personal development, and let's do some self improvement, and let's do some stuff with health. But I knew always, you know, I'm gonna be a mental health advocate. I've been one for so long, and I think you're right. You start you start that brand actually even before you even know it's a brand before you start the podcast because it seemed like everything that happened in life or somebody got depressed or somebody not feeling well or like maybe like a celebrity that took their own life.
Right.
I was in the forefront. Like somebody would hit me up on Facebook or like, and calling me and texting me. It was like, well, Jerry, I know you've been open about your depression. How help me? Like
Right.
I'm barely hanging on myself. I don't know how
I
to
got
help you.
nothing. I got nothing.
But luckily, through the grace of God, the universe, the stars aligning, whatever the case is, we would have conversations, and then when we had the conversations, I go into auto drive and say some stuff that's like, you really helped me. I'm like, don't know what I said, but I'm glad you're alive. I'm glad you're still here, and I'm
Yeah.
glad you're fighting.
Yeah. Wow. So where are you at today?
Woo.
Because I'm a hot mess. I'm always a hot mess. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm always a hot mess. So,
No, you are
um,
good. You don't give yourself enough credit. You are good. You are definitely
thank
good.
you. Thank you.
Um, where am I today? So I am really nervous about this time of year. I always get nervous about this time of year.
Me
And I
too.
always, yeah, I like the moment daylight savings time hit, I'm scared. Like I am scared shitless. And I just and I think last year I felt like I had a good plan to get out of the seasonal pressure. I'm like, this is gonna well no, I think it was 2 years ago. I'm like, this is gonna work. I got a good plan for this. And then my dad died. And so that
Oh
threw
my gosh, I'm so
that threw
sorry.
no, it's okay. It's okay. But that clearly threw me off.
Yeah.
And so every year it's like I feel like I got a plan and then I get a little closer and closer. So this year the plan is to stay active. So I went for a walk this morning. Turn on lights in my apartment. I know I don't have any on now, but it's good for recording. But turn on lights in my apartment because I used to just sit in the dark all the time. It's trying to eat better, which I hadn't really been doing. So we work on that. Excuse me. And then also just supplements. So I bought the vitamin D with K2
Yeah.
and the magnesium glycinate. So I've been taking those trying to fairly regularly. And even when I'm feeling anxious or I'm feeling a little down, like maybe at least 2 or 3 times a week soaking in like some Epsom salt to get that additional magnesium in to
Mhm.
kind of relax me. So I did that. I did that soak last night. And it's been helping. And I I told this to a friend the other day. I said because I lost my job about a month ago. My position got eliminated, and I've
Oh
been trying to
gosh.
find something. That's what prompted the breakdown, the crying
Oh
and the
wow.
breakdown because I had
I'm
so much going
sorry.
on. No, thank you. It's okay. But I had so much going on. I'm like, no, I got to put myself first with the podcast. I got to do this, and so talk about monetization. And I'm just like, oh, but and I
I
became the
get
guy
it.
that cried in front of everybody. But I I told somebody I was like I'm not struggling as much as I thought I'd be. I thought I'd be in a fetal position right about
Hmm.
now. And I said I think with the supplements and the focus on trying to make sure that I move my body and because I don't we know it's all connected, and trying to do those things. I have my days. I
Yeah.
have my days. And when I get a little overwhelmed, I allow myself to be overwhelmed by just laying there like resting but don't stay in it. So but it's been better. So that's a very
Awesome.
talkative way for me to say it's been better.
Well, that's awesome. I talk about the seasonal affective disorder every year in the holiday blues,
Hmm.
because I get holiday blues. I don't get seasonal affective disorder from because I love the cold, not actually the cold, the fall.
Hmm.
So I get mine in the spring to summer because I hate summer.
Oh, okay.
And it's probably because I'm a vampire or something. And the light just drives me nuts unless I'm on the
Hmm.
beach.
Yeah.
It's weird, but I just actually submitted an article last week and I have another article to submit for next month. Um, because it's a big thing. People don't understand how really crucial it is. One of my girlfriends, hers is severe, around
Dang.
this time. So um, yeah, yeah, yeah. So tell us where we can find you everywhere.
Well, I am first of all, again, the host of It's About Damn Time podcast. It's a podcast about self-discovery. I'm helping you build a better you through conversations and revelations. New episodes of that podcast is available on Tuesdays every week. I'm also on social media. It's About Damn Time Pod on Instagram. It's About Damn Time on Facebook. I've been working on threads. You know what I mean? I feel like I could do at least 3 social medias, and that's it. Anything more, I'm gonna be overwhelmed, and I'm really gonna be depressed. So threads, Facebook, and Instagram are the main ones. If you stumble upon some of my stuff somewhere else, then it was the will of the universe that you did.
So if you had one thing to say is your favorite food, what would it be?
Oh, chocolate. Wait, okay, no, hold on. Okay. If we talk about savory, mac and cheese is my all-time favorite.
Oh,
If we talk
wow.
about just something sweet, chocolate. So yeah.
Okay. Now, tell us something to encourage us.
Something to encourage you. You are not alone. You like the battles that you have within, the demons that you battle, the thoughts of why am I here? Do I deserve to be here? I don't, no one would miss me. I could just slide off, or I could just do something to myself and no one would care. No one would come to my funeral. That's one that pops in my head like a lot. You're not alone. People do care. People will cry. Like that moment at Afros and Audio was so powerful that I slipped up to be emotional, but but also to recognize that so many people came to me and was like, I felt you like that I'm glad. Thank you for your vulnerability. So you're not there. You're not alone. Just know that. And just know that you don't have to fight by yourself. Reach out to your friends, reach out to your family, reach out to strangers, reach out to us. We want you to be here. You deserve to be here. The world deserves to have you here.
Thank you. That is so true. And listen, I'm telling you that that moment at Afros and Audio was touching. It was and I always feel bad because I always got to stick mental health in every conversation. And so when I raised my hand, I was like, oh God, here you go again. And it's like somebody takes over me. Whoa, whoa. So I'm glad. I thank you so much for coming on. We're going to keep in touch definitely because you're
Absolutely.
going to you're going to email me and give me all your information. Please, please, please go listen to Jared's podcast because he is such a sweetheart and he has a lot of information for you brothers. Y'all better start listening to him right now. Thank you again, Jared.
Thank you so much.
You guys stay peaceful, stay out of trouble, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.
Sometimes realize that